Hola! In this video you will learn a little bit about regular verbs that end in ER and IR. So let's see. First thing is, do you remember AR verbs, the endings? If you learn these, the ER and IR verbs are almost the same, very similar. So the AR verbs like hablar, caminar, estudiar, llamar, buscar, hablar is to talk, caminar is to walk. All of these verbs, they all end in AR, right? Okay, well, to conjugate these verbs, we just use the infinitive form, hablar, okay, hablar, and then you drop the ending, you drop this AR, and you add the AR endings. Remember those? It will be O or AS, A, AMOS, AIS, AN. In Spanish, O, AS, A, AMOS, AIS, AN. Okay, good. So now, from here, let's go to see the ER and IR verbs. But first, some examples. Yo hablo con mi madre. Yo hablo. Remember that the ending needs to agree with the subject. Yo hablo. Ella estudia biología. I already dropped the AR, and what do I add? If it's she, ella, A. And then careful with some verbs like necesitar, necesitar. Ellos necesitan, they need. When you have two verbs right next to each other and there's no comma in between them, you change the ending of the first verb, but you don't change the second verb. They need to buy the book. Ellos necesitan comprar el libro. And now, like I was saying, let's look at the ER and IR verbs. They're very similar. Well, not similar. You'll see the endings that are similar, but the verbs are just other different verbs. So, aprender, to learn. Now, careful. When you're learning to do something, like I learned to swim, you would say aprender a nadar. How do you say I learned to swim? Aprendo a nadar. Learn to do something, you need to put that a in the middle. There are other verbs like beber, comer, correr, leer, all of these verbs. And also some IR verbs. Abrir is to open, decidir, decidir, to decide, escribir, vivir, any of these verbs. Now, how do we use them? I said that they're similar to AR verbs. Well, let's see how similar they are. So, to be able to use these, we need new endings. So, first of all, we're going to be using the infinitive of the verb. Abrir or beber or escribir, any of these verbs that we just covered. And then we're going to drop the ending, either the ER ending or the IR ending. And we're going to add the new endings. And you're going to see the tables in a second. So, what are these new endings for the ER verbs and IR verbs? Let's look at these. You here have the AR endings, O, AS, A, the ones that I just mentioned. And then you have the new ones for an ER verb or any IR verbs here. So, you can see that the yo form is the same. You're going to always have an O at the beginning. And then if you pay attention, you will see that all of the endings for ER verbs is the same exact shape, the same exact way as the AR verbs, but just with E's. So instead of AS, it's going to be ES. Instead of A, it's going to be E. Instead of AMOS, it's going to be E. Oops. Okay. EMOS. I's is going to be A. So, and AN is going to be EN. So, same, just with E's. And now what about the IR? Well, look at this. And actually the colors will give you a hint. They are all the same as an ER except for these two. See that this is the same as the ER? Everything's the same. Everything's the same except for nosotros and vosotros, where instead of E's, now you're using I's. Vivimos. Vivís. That's the verb to live. Vivir. Okay? So those are the endings. That will be it. So how do we say I read? Yo leo. Escribir, to write. Yo escribo. I drop the IR and then I add the O. Escribir. Okay, let's see more examples. So again, look at the verb comer with the endings and all of the forms right here in this table. So on this table you can see, all the endings. How do you conjugate the verb comer? Yo como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen. And the meaning in English. And some examples, let's see. So remember, write down those endings. This slide right here is the best one. So this part, you should write this down and memorize it because we're going to be using it a lot. So this is the table for ER verbs, and look at the activities or some examples. What is this? Can you remember what it is? What verb is it? It's to drink, right? How do you say to drink with an ER verb? Beber. And now what if we put it in the ella form? Remember, you drop the ER, and what was the ending that we put at the end? Bebe. Ella bebe agua. She drinks water. Okay, what is he doing? ¿Qué hace? ¿Qué hace él? What's he doing? Él, what is the main verb? The infinitive, the main verb before you conjugate it. Correr, okay? So then, how do I say he runs? Él, what is the ending? Just an E. Él corre. Make sure you look at the table that we were going through. Yard sale, what is this? We're selling something. What is the verb to sell? Vender. And then if we use it in the ellos form, ellos venden with that en at the end. Ellos venden muchas cosas. They sell a lot of things. Good. Now, what about the IR endings? Let's look at verb vivir. Vivir. Again, with this table, you can see the endings for all of the forms. The example with the verb vivir, vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. And the meanings in English. And again, a couple examples here. What is this? To write. How do we say to write in Spanish? Escribir. And now the IR endings. If we're saying el estudiante, he writes the essay, la redacción. How do we say that? If it's a he or a she, it's going to be escribe. Él escribe, or el estudiante escribe. The student writes the essay. Okay, this is going to be one of the verbs that we have. It could be to open a gift, but recibir, we're using this verb. Recibir, recibir. Nosotros, how do we do this? Well, we're going to drop the IR, and what is the ending that we're using? Again, go look at your table and look at the nosotros ending. It's going to be the one with the I, recibimos or recibimos. Nosotros recibimos un regalo. We receive a gift. Great. What about this? Asistir a. When you're attending a class, a session, a conference, a party, you asistir. You attend this place. So you use that a before the place. Los estudiantes, the students, attend the conference. So if it's los estudiantes, what do we do with this verb? Drop the IR. And if it's los estudiantes, it's kind of like they, right? It's a group. So, asisten a la conferencia. Ellos asisten a la conferencia. Good, so there's a little bit of practice here. You can pause this video and try to write the forms like this. Like, how do we say Jose writes? How do we change this to give the form? Like that, Jose escribe. Like I said, you can pause this, complete this on a separate piece of paper, and then go back and look at the answers. And I'll show you the answers right now. Los amigos comen. Tú comprendes. Yo leo. Laura y Roberto creen que hay clase. Mi familia y yo vivimos en una casa. Awesome. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a good day. Adios.